Hello there,
Hello there,
Bunny.
Bunny. Hello, hello.
Coach No.
Yes, Coach Landy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Is my sound on? Your video is not on.
My video is not on.
No, Mina, I can't see you.
Hey, boo. What do you
When I can
mean?
you see the both of us?
Yes,
Mina, I can only see myself. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but let
Like
me just.
really, I can only see myself.
Hey, boo, girl. I don't know about that, but yeah.
If you can see the both of us here, then
I can. I can. I can.
okay. Well, maybe it'll catch up on my side as well.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Alrighty, Gavin. Let us do this.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. We are
Hello,
having a live session.
T. Hey, girl.
Yes.
That's
We are
Togo.
high tea.
So,
We are having a live Ezigo session today because we have a few announcements. Um, so yes, Coach No, take it over. Put us where we need
Haibo.
to be.
Ah.
Ibo.
Hi, T. Hi, Togo. That's my friend from college days, forever and ever. Actually, only originates from where you at, Coach Lodi, Ulundi. So Ulundi
Oh
is well
wow,
represented. Yes.
Kaya.
Matuwazan is joining us tonight. Thank you,
uh, th-
Togo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Coach Lundy. So you and I have been having chats about some of the issues that our clients are dealing with of late. And it would seem that a lot of people, whether they are inside or outside of relationships, they are just facing this big disillusionment where they are hitting brick walls. So if somebody's inside a relationship, they are finding themselves questioning whether they should be staying, if the problems they're dealing with are worth it, just finding yourself in that crossroads. And for those that are outside, wondering if, this whole relationshiping thing was actually meant for other people and not them, because they keep getting it wrong. Like they just keep kissing frogs. Our poor brothers are just, coming across people who are not really into them, So, and for my side, as somebody who deals with family, um, also, the same is happening where people are just struggling with difficult relationships within the family space. So, whether it's with your family of origin, where you've had this one consistent difficult relationship, and you're just asking yourself if it's even worth trying to save the relationship, have a relationship, or if cutting ties will actually be better for you. So those are some of the things that you are coming across. And you'd even be surprised that people also feel the very same way sometimes about their children, where their children have just taken them through the most. And, they're just wondering, is it ever an option as a parent to just like cut it with your child? Because, wow, So, yeah, those are the things that we are finding of late, you and I, in our practices. And yeah, we thought that it's calling for something, it's asking for something. So tell us what you are finding, what you are seeing on your side.
uh, yes, definitely. And it's very heightened, especially this time of the year, um, for us to be really confronted with some of the more unwanted aspects or cycles of our relationship and love life in general. And there's a reason for that. So over the next couple of weeks, from next week all the way till December, we'll be doing a series of conversations conversations around relationship dynamics that are particularly that happen particularly around the festive season and holiday seasons. So we'll be breaking it down during this festive season, all the different dynamics that we get faced with, the challenges around relationships, not just intimate relationships, but family dynamics as well. We'll be doing a series on conversations like that. And then we'll also be doing a live event. So you will get to be with us in the same room, in a very nice setting, one of our new favorite places. I will be making a trip from Ulundi. When siyahamba ke sinawe ke, we will make a trip of it. We are going to Gauteng because that's where majority of my clientele as well is. So we'll be coming over to Gauteng in Centurion on the 9th of December, and we will be unpacking this disillusionment stage that happens in our lives, and we'll be approaching it on the levels of what does it mean, like breaking it down. How do you even know? How do you recognize that it's a disillusionment stage? Because what happens is you have these recurring unwanted patterns. So we'll be having a conversation around ending unwanted patterns that just keep showing up in your love life and in your relationships. So we'll be deep diving into that on the 9th of December. You'll have the both of us in conversation with you, workshopping through this issue, providing you insight, strategies. You'll get to hear other people's stories, because sometimes when we're going through the most, we think that our situations are unique to us. Gandhi, it's helpful to know that there are other people going through the same things that you're going through. So we'll be having that. And then we'll be looking at why does this happen. I've already started a series in my email community, kind of as an introductory, so that by the time we get to the live event, we can use our time very productively, and we can just kind of tailor everything. So you will have the background information on relationship patterns, disillusionment, dark night of the soul, because a lot of people, it's not that you're unlucky in love. It's just that you were stuck in a dark night of the soul that was triggered by a relationship, but because some people cannot pinpoint what the trigger for this dark night of the soul period of suffering and struggle and things just failing to come together is, so it's all of those things that I'll be breaking down in my email community. If you're not there yet, jump in, because it'll be good background information for you when you are coming into the live event, so that we use that time really productively to deal with the issues at hand. And you already have like the back end information around what creates these dynamics, why do they happen. But yeah, we'll just keep jumping on. And then you can also even come ready with your own questions, prepared, and we'll make, a really impactful session out of it. It's going to be somewhat of a full day workshop, summit. You're just going to be having a chat, in a very, very, very beautiful place. And so we're going to be together from 9 in the morning up until 4 p.m. So it's going to be Saturday the 9th. We're looking forward to having you all there. And if you are really looking at ending unwanted patterns that keep showing up in your relationship, understanding the dynamics, understanding the unseen forces that are creating these dynamics for you, then you are more than welcome to join us. We will be dropping the link. The tickets are already on sale. We'll be dropping the link in the description of this video, in our bios. So yeah, do come through. And then building up to that, we'll be having this series where we are really deep diving into these dynamics of the festive season.
Yes. So I would like to acknowledge some people that has joined us. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So I think just for the benefit of people, because you know what, we interact with the work on a daily basis. So some of the terms that we use, you know, to some people are like, what is this disillusionment that they are talking about? So disillusionment is like, if let's say you're in a relationship, and when I say relationship, I want people to think broadly. Don't just limit it to just romantic relationships, right? So this could be a relationship with your parent, a relationship with a sibling, a relationship. Guys, December is coming. You know, when people are thinking of going home, there is that one person who just makes you consider, should I even go or not? Because you know that each time you are stuck together in one place, some drama is bound to ensue. Whether you're going to have verbal altercations over a particular issue or anything. It's like sometimes, you know, especially in the family setting where somebody, like, you have gone through all the emotions and emotions that you can imagine in a single relationship with one person, but you are still not yet at a point where you can say, we are able to resolve it. Like, you are just, so disillusionment is like you have literally hit a brick wall in a particular relationship or cycle, right? And you are just standing there, hands in the air, and saying, I have done everything. I have thought of everything. I have applied every trick in the book. My toolbox is empty from trying each and every single thing that one can think of, and nothing seems to be working. I just don't know what to do anymore. Disillusionment is that stage where you're like, okay, whatever, you know, I don't know. But at the same time, you are somehow bound to this person. You are somehow bound. So think of it, if this is a parent, think of it if it's a sibling, that you can't, you know, yeah, you can distance yourself, but even in that distance, the mere mention of this person's name, any conversation that involves their name just triggers you somewhat. So even keeping the distance does not solve this disillusionment that you experience when you are thinking about them. The same could be happening in romantic relationships, you know, and I particularly like to think of right now. I think people are familiar, those who are into pop culture. The lady I spoke to about it, Coach Lundi, a few days ago, Ginny Mai, who was married before for 10 years, like she was just adamant that she is not willing to have children. Was married to her first husband for 10 years, and ultimately the marriage ended because the husband had changed his mind. He wanted children, and she still was like, no, I'm not having children. Fast forward, I think about 2 years or so after her divorce, she met somebody else. They fell madly in love and got married. But, you know, she felt like she had found her ultimate dream guy. They get each other, there on the same level in every way imaginable. And now they've hit the 2 year mark on their marriage, and this guy is asking for a divorce. So maybe, you know, you are that person. You are in between marriages, you are in between relationships. There isn't anything you haven't tried when it comes to relationships. You've had a type, you've dropped having a type, you stopped having a type. You had a checklist, you dropped the checklist. You know, like, there isn't anything. You've dated up, you've dated down, you've crossed races, you listen, but it just seems like when it comes to relationships, you seem to be stuck in this one cycle and you cannot for the life. And you are now at a stage where you're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna retire from romantic relationships. They're just not for me, guys. Like, I can't keep getting it wrong, no matter who I'm with, what I'm doing. And not to make light of this, Coach Lundy, you know, there's a trend that is emerging, and I don't wanna make light of people's realities, but we are now seeing a lot of women who presented as straight, out of disillusionment, are even willing to try same-sex relationships because they're thinking, maybe if it's with another woman, we're both women, it will be better. But trust you me, there are those who are coming back to say, guys, I can't believe it's still the same. Like, Kanti, what's going on? Is it me? What's going on? It cannot be that I seem to have this dark cloud hanging over me. For other people, it's the work situation. You can change as many companies as you want. You are always running into the same issues. If you are disliked by your colleagues, you're thinking that no, changing companies will solve it. So it's those patterns that you are talking about, and you are now at a stage where you're like, you know what? Maybe there's something that I'm missing. Maybe there's something that I'm not aware of that somebody else could show me. So those are the types of topics that you will be tackling. So if you identify with any of the scenarios, and even some that were not even mentioned, but you can already think in your head about things that just seem to be repeating continuously and endlessly. I used to make a joke about, you would have friends where, let's say maybe university days, you would all cry over being dumped by boyfriends. But they've since left you there. They've moved on. They came right in their love lives. But poor you is still stuck there. And now you don't even have company anymore. There's nobody to cry with you. And in our shame, they're just too polite to say to, I'm Gani, you're still crying over the same thing we were crying over 10, 15 years ago. Come on. So maybe that is you. And because for most people, it's embarrassing to admit, especially if everything else in your life is going well. You are beautiful, you are a high achiever, you're doing great at work or in other aspects of it, but this one area keeps tripping you up. So then we are talking to you because there is something there that you are not aware of. Because because the way that life and nature works is that it will keep sending you the same lesson, the same tests until you get it. And only when you get it will you then graduate to the next level. So yeah, come. Let us gather with other women and talk about those things so you can come away knowing exactly what it is, that could be part of the reason why you find yourself stuck in these cycles.
Hmm. I always say that the simplest way um, to think of it as well is in our relationships, in our approach to relationships, all forms of relationships, we already have preconceived ideas and ideals. And so,
Mhm.
in our experience, it becomes disillusionment when your reality and your ideals and dreams seem to just clash. So,
Yeah.
it's like reality wants a tap in the back and says, we need to talk because the stuff that's going
Mm.
on in your mind and your heart is just not matching with how I operate.
No.
With how
Yeah.
I operate. And it's not a lack of effort on your side. It's just that there's just a misalignment between your ideals and what reality is offering.
Mm.
And there is a way to align the two. It requires a bit of understanding of a few elements regarding life, regarding relationship purpose, regarding your own identity as well. So it's also because sometimes, like I said, it triggers a dark night of the soul period in life where you just need to really just go within, look within, and get the full 411 about yourself. You
Yeah.
get to know you. It's just that self-awareness space, and all your fears, all your doubts, everything just comes and confronts you in life. So it's just one of those things that it really requires
Mm.
um, deliberate and intentional
Mm.
confrontation on your side. Because it's already confronting you anyway. So it's like somebody
Mm.
coming and putting you in a boxing ring and saying, we are boxing right now.
Mm.
We're
Mm.
already in the ring. The gloves are on. You might as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you might as
Yeah.
well. So that's the stuff that we are really going to be deep diving into you understanding your patterns and what role those patterns play. And a lot of the times, relationships, how it's for you to know for sure that you need to be there. You know, in all these experiences that Unonu has said, you've tried this, you've tried that, you've considered this, you've considered that. The one thing that remains is, no matter how hard you try not to want to, you can't help but still want to.
Yes.
Like, a question is, if then why do people keep going back? So if you have that person who doesn't understand, why do I keep going back? Like, you're like, okay, I'm gonna take a sabbatical, but you find yourself back again. And you're like, no, I'm done. But that is the playing out of a disillusionment stage. Because no matter how hard you try, you've joined every club that says you can handle and do this life thing on your own. You don't need companionship. You don't your independence is just not cutting it. It's just not enough for you. That's disillusionment.
Yeah.
Because you are trying your level best to say, you know what, but I really don't need. And it's not like you really are desperate. You're not desperate for a relationship. Life is good. It's not like you are desperate. It's something that you need. But you just cannot, for the life of you, just
figure it out.
Step away and walk away and shut the door on that and let it be. That is disillusionment. Just doing its thing with you. So that's the clarity that will help you make a clean decision around, do you need to be there? Around, is this thing something that you need to make sure that by the next year, when you are setting, and we'll be talking about this in one of our conversations that are coming up, those New Year's resolutions around relationships. So if you really are finding yourself that I've joined the Know Your Wet Club, I've joined the Single and what's by choice, I've joined the whatever, all these clubs, nobody is kicking you out. You are the one who's finding the exit and going back to the pandemic. There is your love life, there is whatever. So that's who we have created this event for. So if that's you, we are looking forward to having you. We will be discussing everything. Mina, I've already started, like today, on my newsletter, it was patterns. There's exercises there for you to already start, so that you come there and you are in a space and you've prepared yourself to receive the healing that you need, to receive the clarity, to receive the awareness, and of course the breakthrough that you need for yourself. So I'll be doing that in my email. I've started. Today was patterns. I think it's going to be Sunday where I'll be deep diving into unpacking disillusionment. Then it's just going to be a series going on leading up to when we get into a room together, so that you have the back end information. And of course, some of us then you have these, because with disillusionment, the one thing we need to understand is it's a very karmic event. It's a very karmic experience. Yes, that's the word I want. It's a very karmic experience. And because it's so karmic, it doesn't choose. It's not only exclusive to romantic relationship. When you avoid it in your relationship, in your romantic relationship, it'll meet you in your work relationship. It'll meet you in your friendships, because it's a very karmic experience. And that's another thing that I'm going to be unpacking with the series that's leading up to the live event.
Yeah, I think for those that have watched our videos like this one before, they will remember that I did touch on the fact that my dark cloud that used to hang over me for years was that of rejection. It followed me everywhere. It was like an aroma that I exuded, It didn't matter whether it was in the workplace, in romantic relationships, in my family relationships, in my friendships, anywhere I went, I would ultimately be forced to deal with this thing called rejection, where I would be rejected. And it took me a long time, firstly, to identify and gain the clarity that this is what I'm dealing with. So, for somebody who's probably watching us, this is how you know, for example, that you are dealing with it. Um, your relationships start well, whether it's at work, it's friendships, or whatever. But along the way, um, things that happening as they will, it's normal in relationships. We'll hit those patches where sometimes we don't see eye to eye with people, but other people, like a speed hump, are able to get over it and keep it moving. But with you, you find that this friend who was so crazy about you suddenly just can't stand you, and you literally feel rejected. Like, how, friend? I thought you were with me, in the workplace. You were the star employee. But how? Before you know it, you have managed to have so many enemies. In your relationships, you meet this guy, you seem to be, getting along well. But whenever you have fights, he turns around the very things that he loved about you in the beginning. When he told you, I love 1, 2, 3 about you, he turns around and says, it is these very things that make me, I cannot stand you. I can't stand it when you do this. You are too controlling, you're too bossy, you're too this. And yet when you met, he said, I like the fact that you take control. I like the fact that you are independent and you don't wait for me to make decisions. But then later on, when you start getting into fights, he turns around and he says, I hate the fact that you never consult me when you have to make decisions. I hate the fact that you want everybody else to listen to you. It's those very things, but suddenly they've now become this thing that are causing fights. So there isn't that rejection. So, and I want you to think about this as you listen to this and try to see, because one thing that we fail to realize now when we are going through all of these things, we treat it as isolated events until one day we take the time to sit down and start looking at our lives holistically, and we're like, no man, wait a minute. This thing is actually happening everywhere. Obviously, it'll manifest differently at work, at home, in your relationships, in your friendships. But at the core of it is people feeling maybe repulsed by me. Why is that? So those are some of the things that we will be digging at, because some people actually cannot, don't even know. And as you said, Coach Lind, you said karma is fate, like it's like it's your fate. Why is it that this thing is your fate? Sometimes it's not your issue. Sometimes it's something that it's a home thing. You come with it, from home. So it's those things, and it's not the kinds of things that one suddenly wakes up and figures it out and says, oh yeah, this is karmic, this is no, because you will know that we get clients who, for example, will say, I don't know what it is about me that makes me attract partners who just want to use me financially and in every way, right? And in their mind, the problem is with attracting partners. Kanti maybe the problem they have is the relationship with money, or maybe their sense of self-worth. Do you know what I mean? So until they speak to either you or me, we are then able to say to them, what you are looking at the symptoms and not the root cause of what actually is causing your issue. So this experience, this live experience with Coach Lundi and myself, will grant you the opportunity to start maybe looking at areas that have been blind spots in your life. Because sometimes when you are assessing your own life, it's very easy to miss certain things, because you are looking at it from your own point of view. You do not have the benefit of other people's very honest opinions of how they perceive you and receive you. And you also do not have the benefit of being able to truthfully track where you've been and what's been really happening. And that just 360-degree view, because we are like this. And it's normal. We're human beings, right? We are like this. But sometimes when you have other people with you in the room, and we speak about those topics, you are able to take a back seat and say, I never saw it that way. Some people are not even aware that what they are going through, the cycles and the patterns that are unhealthy, that are toxic, that they are going through, were experienced by their very parents. Because when you're just thinking, I think relationships are not for me. You haven't taken the time out to wonder why your mother is sitting there single at her age. Like, why did she give up? Like, you can remember the last time your mom had a partner in her life. Maybe you were in your early teens, you are now approaching 40, and your mom has been single for over 20 years. It's never occurred to you because you are looking at her like she's just mom. But now, imagine it seems like you are walking the same path, so it's those kinds of things that we will be touching on. Because human beings, we are wired in that way. Everything is about us. It becomes difficult to
We are
accept
the
a world
center of our
view.
own
Of
universe.
course, we are the sun, the moon, and the stars. So come, let's see. There's other universes out there, and you'll be surprised actually at just how similar our paths are and how it's actually not that complicated, isn't it, Coach Lodi? This is the biggest surprise our clients find when we come to the breakthrough stage, to say that, hey, but guys,
Like, really, it's
all
not as deep
this
as we're
for such
making
a simple thing.
it.
You mean I went through 15
Yeah.
heartbreaks over such a
Like,
small
where have
little
you been,
thing?
dude?
Hi,
Like, guys, I've
guys.
been here.
So, guys, if
That's so
breakthrough
true.
does not have to be heartbreaking. If breakthrough is usually, it's like, it's usually literally those moments where you're like, oh, duh. Like,
Aha,
really?
man.
Why didn't anybody tell me this? So come and join us, and we'll have a beautiful time, man. It's not gonna be so hectic, trust me. The subject matters are hectic, but the method of getting to the breakthrough and unraveling are fun, interesting. So let's
We
do
are
this
very nice
together.
people. We don't
Well,
bite.
we don't bite, guys. We don't bite. We don't
Really
bite.
though,
Yeah.
but I wanted to just emphasize on the importance of getting um outside perspective. Think of it
Mm.
as no matter how hard you try to tickle yourself, you just
Mm.
can't. You can
Ah!
you can touch yourself
Yeah.
in the most ticklish places that you will never be able to tickle
Yeah.
yourself. It just
Yeah.
doesn't happen. And so
No.
does a shift in perspective. It just
Mm.
that's just how we designed. We require
Mm.
that outside external force. And also
Yeah.
for a lot of people, because people have been doing the work.
Mm.
They've been
Mm.
doing the inner healing work. They've been doing. And for many
Definitely.
people, as Mina, I'm speaking on the perspective of my clients, like
Mm.
people have been devoted to personal
Mm.
development. It's been years. They've been putting in
Mm.
the effort. They've been investing the time, the money, the everything,
Mm.
but not getting the results. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not that you need to go dig up all of these wounds. It's that you just need somebody to help you be able to learn to get the momentum and the engine of your healing going so that it can
Mm.
be the driver now, so that the healing
Mm.
is the driver. Because a
Yes.
lot of times we treat healing as a project.
Mm.
You're going to do it, you shut the book on that thing, you put it there. No.
Mm.
And you allow the momentum of the trauma and the wound to carry you.
Mm.
So there's
Mm.
also that element as well for some people that you've been doing the work. You've been doing
Mm.
the work, you've been putting in the effort, you've been putting in the investment, you've really been pumping, the gas on your healing and
Mm.
confronting your shadows, but things are not changing
Yeah.
because you haven't learned how to ride the wave of your healing.
Yes. of your
You still
healing.
only know how to ride the wave of your trauma. So your trauma keeps pulling you back because you don't know how to ride the wave of your healing. And so those are also the things that we're going to be looking at. How do you then ride the wave of your healing? Because the trauma will pull you back. If you're not
Oh yeah.
stable, if you're not
Yeah.
grounded on that wave of healing and allowing that momentum to carry you, external forces will pull you back to the
True
trauma
that.
and the patterns because they feel familiar, you
True
know. So it's
that.
also one of those things that we really need to start learning how to ride the wave of our healing, because we've been doing the work. It's
Mm.
been years. We've been
Mm.
investing in these things. It's not new concepts
Mm.
that we are going to just be creating things out of thin air. No, it's
Mm.
stuff that we've faced, but we just haven't learned how to ride the wave of the healing. So that's also another thing that we are really going to be deep diving into. How do you ride that wave of your healing so that you finally, just let those sleeping dogs lie?
Yeah. Yeah. And you are so right, Coach Lundi. And to add on that, sometimes, it's just a simple matter of changing how you identify yourself. Like you say, people, don't know how to ride the wave of their healing, because remember, it is intimidating, it's scary, it's unfamiliar. You have lived for so long in Traumaville that
Yay.
looking across the road to go and live in Healedville seems so scary and so intimidating. And so whenever you have done some work on an aspect of your life, you okay, so let me make an example, a practical example. It's like this, ne? Let's say you were in a car accident and you were hospitalized, right? And it was a really bad one. And for some time, let's say for a period of about 3 months, you had a cast on your leg. And every time people see you, they see the cast on the leg, like, oh my gosh, what happened to you? And like, oh, I was in a car accident. I was a victim of a car accident, right? That's a valid description. That is what happened to you, ne? And then you are wearing this cast for 3 months. In the beginning, it's uncomfortable. I mean, a cast is a cast, like, yeah, it will take some getting used to, But I mean, 3 months later, you sort of have gotten the hang of walking around with this thing. You know how to scratch the itch deep inside there. You know what instruments to use to scratch, from inside the cast. And you sort of develop a relationship with this cast on your leg, right? Okay, your 3 months is up, they take off the cast. Now you are no longer wearing a cast. So the first few weeks, you have a slight limp because your bones are still aligning and you meet somebody and they're like, oh, you have a limp, what happened? Oh no, I was involved in a car accident, right? Oh my gosh, but so it wasn't that bad because here you are using both legs. No, it was really bad. I was wearing a cast for 3 months. Really? Oh my gosh. Oh, get better soon. 2 months go by, the limp is better, you're back to normal walking, right? You meet the person who saw you with the cast on. Oh my gosh, look at you, you are looking so much better, you have healed. No, but remember, that car accident was bad, hey, because now you have to reacclimatize to being this person who is healed from the car accident, you see. So you have taken on the identity of having been a victim of a car accident, even when all of the things that used to support the evidence that was there to say, yes, she was involved in an accident, is no longer there in your mind now. It's hard to go back to being a you who healed from a car accident. So that is what happens with relationships. We go to hospital, we get the therapy, we get the coaching, but every time we are back into the world and we have worked on a certain part of ourselves, we still want to lead with our wounds. We still want to identify, oh, I'm a divorcee. How long ago was the divorce, ma'am? Oh, I've been divorced for 3 years. So why are you still identifying as a divorcee? You're a single person. You're no longer married. Why is the divorce relevant when you are identifying yourself Do you know what I mean? It's like moms who have children and gained a bit of weight, ne? And then it's like, oh no, it's pregnancy weight. How old is the child? He's 6. 6. Usabali pregnancy weight.
With our pregnancy mind, with my 7-year-old, I still have pregnancy brain.
But do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? So somewhere in you were stuck at a particular point, and you are now using your wound as this thing that identifies you, as this thing that defines you. And sometimes that's just all the breakthrough you need for us to say to you, hey, change your identity. You no longer live there. You are healed now. You don't have a bed in the hospital ward anymore. You are healed. Go occupy your house where people like you who have healed are, and then then you've got a higher chance of attracting people that you prefer. Because if you are living with your wounds, remember, you're still gonna attract the patients there by the ward. Because Bella Aniti, we've got wounds in common, we've got trauma in common. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes when you have done the work on yourself, it's just a matter of changing your identity and changing your location. You can't keep going back to where you are hurt and where you are all reminded and triggered and so it's those kinds of things. Some people don't have people that are able to show them that it is possible, and it is as simple as that. Sometimes it is deep for other people, but for a lot of people, especially those that have been doing the work, it's just a matter of putting a final nail on the one coffin, picking up your bed, and crossing the road. So come.
And
when
you're talking about the simplicity of it, because my thing is keep it simple but make it very significant.
Yes.
On that whole changing the identity thing. And words as well, the words that we use can be so big because we are so smart and intelligent, and then we get overwhelmed by our own smart, intelligent, brains. It's as simple as change the story you're telling,
That's all.
Stop telling the story of how much you were hurt.
Yes.
I love deep diving into karma in relationship, because one of the things that I do teach is that your relationship is your karma, most especially because relationships are a God-created thing. One of the reasons why we struggle so much is because we want to make ourselves the creator of this thing. Story for that day over there, that one.
Yes. The 9th of December.
Yes, the 9th of December, we will definitely be unpacking that situation. Like, girl, stay in your lane. Know where you fit in and how you fit into this whole dynamic. Don't make it your own when you're just supposed to be, a participant, a steward of the thing. So very juicy conversations we're going to be having. Yeah. But in going back to start telling the story of your healing is how you start changing your identification.
True that.
Because the more you beat the drum about what happened to you, and disillusionment, when I said it's karmic, is because it also comes with those karmic relationships. They feel destined. Like, we were destined. And a lot of people I work with are people that have the one that got away, thinking that was your soulmate. That was your soulmate. So the one that got away, and then I never experienced a love like that ever again before. So you still hung up on that. Yes. And not understanding what disillusionment is, not understanding what a karmic relationship is, not understanding relationship karma, not understanding your own relational karma, and how you impact and affect things in your life, and just with how you identify yourself, just with your beliefs around what you can and cannot have in life, just deal with the choices and the decisions that you make. Because these are the things that we take for granted. We really take these things for granted, and they shape our lives in such a significant way. So it's also going to just shifting, just little minor shifts, you know, like, okay, these are the things you should be paying attention to more than the outcomes, more than the circumstances. You need to focus on how are you identifying yourself. You identify yourself by the stories you keep telling about yourself in your life. I have a karmic soulmate. I have proof that I've had a karmic soulmate. It's growing
I attract
every single
narcissists.
Yes. No, but what I'm saying is, in the changing your story, especially if you've had a failed relationship, well, because we call them failed relationships. If you've had a failed relationship and you keep talking about it, oh, I have an ex-husband. Oh, okay. I have a baby daddy. You keep telling that story of your wounding, you know, and that keeps you stuck because you haven't allowed yourself to accept the difference between reality and your ideals. You haven't been able to create a bridge between reality and your ideals. Oh, my father left me. He abandoned me. I'm 35. I don't need a father. But I'm still crying over the fact that my father abandoned me. I am a fool.
And when he did, you were a baby. You were not even aware what you are being abandoned.
I don't even remember.
You don't know nothing.
I wasn't even aware. I don't even remember. I
But
didn't even know until somebody told me.
It's the bad
then
you wear.
Then it becomes my identity.
Yes.
But when we start telling different stories of the gifts that we have received through those experiences, the growth, you know, the paths that we've been able to walk on because these things have led us to those paths. So it's learning how to it's almost like learning how to pick the fruit from the weed, and then those are the things that we'll be able to help you with, because really it's in the stories we tell, it's in the because of the stories we tell, what we then conclude is what we are worthy and deserving of. And bottom line, Jay, this fate thing, stop leaving your relationships to fate. Take destiny into your hands. Put it in the category that destiny, not fate. Because fate, there's a whole lot of drama. There's a whole lot of unhappiness.
A whole lot.
You really don't want to be leaving your relationship and approaching it as a thing that belongs to fate. It does not belong to fate. Fate, yes, serves a purpose just to give us information. That's the job of fate. Give us information so that we can be able to choose. Fate serves in providing us with a platform to use our free will. Without our picture of fate, without the picture that fate paints, we would not be able to use our God-given free will. So that's all fate is there for, to allow us a platform and an opportunity to use our God-given free will, not for us to step into that bandwagon and ride it, because it's not going to any sunset.
Yeah. You know, as you are speaking, something else is coming to mind. So maybe there is a person who is watching us tonight, Coach Lundi, or later when they will come across this video, and their disillusionment is with the healing methods and modalities. So I'll make an example. This is somebody who has gone for counseling. This is somebody who has gone for therapy for years, like you said. And they are like, you know, these things, I'm not even sure they work, man. You know, I've been going to therapy. I've gone for counseling. All I get asked is, how am I feeling? But I'm not seeing the results. All I get to do is to talk about what I'm going through and what I'm feeling, you know, but I'm not given the tools and the application, you know, to apply those things into my life so that it is transformed. So if you are that person, and maybe you are like, who are those two girls that are just going on and on and on? What are they coaching? Come find out. because as much as we will not be giving a coaching session there, you will get to understand, because as Coach Lundy says, and the analogy that she used, and I like it, Coach Lundy, where you say, we are teaching people how to pick the fruit out of the weeds, because the other methods focus on cleaning out the weeds. And by the time you get to the fruit, it's off season.
Are you
It's fallen
exhausted?
off the tree. You are exhausted. Do you know what I'm saying? And weeds will forever be there. For as long as there's a plant, the weeds will be there. So why not rather take that energy and get strategies and tools to teach you how to pick that fruit, so that you don't waste your time looking at the weeds and how much they've grown, because I don't care how big they are. If there's fruit and you know how to get to your fruit, darling child, when Nanje, you will just know how to go for your gold and leave that messy garden. It's not yours to clean, because sometimes, like you say, we take on other people's baggage and issues and stuff, and we make them our own when they were not. Do you know what? Just to get the benefits and get the fruit and get the hell out of there. Because sometimes also the mistake that people make is to assume that the garden, so the garden could be your family dynamic, it could be your relationships or whatever. You feel like you always have to go back and clean it up and make it work. Sometimes you just need to go, hey, just go, guys. Like, really, it's okay. Go, because and try, the world is big and there's gardens everywhere. You don't have to keep on, being stuck doing the same thing. Sometimes you just have to admit to it, okay, banana doesn't grow in Gauteng. The climate does not allow. Go find a place where the climate allows for a banana tree to thrive. Sometimes that's all there is to it. So because now if you're going to try and want to turn the soil yase Gauteng to be conducive to growing banana trees, you're never gonna win. It's never happened. And then again, you will come into that stage of disillusionment. Gandhi, all you needed, sometimes you just needed a tribe, a new tribe, people that identify with where you want to be, with the healed version of yourself, with the person who says, you know what, I may have come from this, but it's not the be all and end all of my life, and it's not going to define me. So sometimes it's just coming to people like us to, because sometimes people, when I coach learn, they come to us, they just want permission, because they can't give it to themselves. They want permission to say,
That's a lot.
go, yes, you are allowed, go, it's okay. That your tribe of origin is not working for you, my darling. You will never grow there. The garden that you were born into, it could be your family, is not conducive for your growth. Go, you will find a tribe out there that will support you thriving, that will support your growth. So sometimes people just need that permission. So maybe that's all you need for you to open up your wings and just fly into your land of desire as a person, and stop feeling like you are, it's your fate to suffer, it's your fate to endure. Guys, life is too short to be going through. Enjoy. Oh, so
I don't worry, I'm
short
writing
to
a whole
life.
book about enduring love. That one was also very nice.
Woo! Enjoy.
And also on what you're saying, what you're touching on the modalities, because like you said, I really do get a lot of people who've been through all sorts of healing modalities, 10 years into all these things. And one of the things that I really like highlighting and pointing out that I've found is very powerful and helpful, and it gives almost immediate breakthroughs, is the fact that it's not a one size fits all.
No.
This thing, we are not all supposed to be fitting into the same template. And one of the things that really leaning into your own disillusionment is to help you identify your own template for yourself. Because we are not all supposed to be using the same template. That's why there are so many different, that's why the disillusionment happens, so that you can release other people's templates, because when there are other people's, they create the illusion for you. It becomes an illusion because it's not authentic to you. That's the whole point of it being an illusion. So that's, yes, it's elusive to you because it's not yours.
Of course.
So the whole process of leaning in to the disillusionment is to help you identify your authentic template. And because of our upbringing and all the things, and I will be going into this at the workshop, the aspects of karma that affect us, our predetermined, the stuff we're born into, that affect our decision making, that affect the patterns that we form and go into, our learned aspects, of love, and the stuff that we create ourselves with our own sovereignty. All of those things come into the pot and cook this thing for you. So there's no way that what I'm cooking with my predetermined stuff and my learned stuff and my sovereign stuff is going to be identical and the same as Nunu's or as Okwako and tea. It just can't be. However, because life in trying to have us find to fit in when we actually wanted to just belong, we leaned more into fitting in. Now we want to do things in the same way. And we are not the same. We're not here to have the same experiences. So it's also that stuff that we're going to be helping you with, like identifying, leaning into the disillusionment so that you can identify your own authentic template and blueprint, because we all have our own. Everybody has their own. There's no cookie cutter here. There's no one size fits all. I remember when I wrote my book, a person said, you might as well be selling Uzi for Zonke. And I said, no, it cannot be Uzi for Zonke, because we are not all sick in the same way. Yes, we may be identifying the source of our sickness as the same, but we're not sick in the same way. So it really is not.
Yeah. Nana Uti, this live event, Donna Coach Londi, I want, one of my desires is for people who will be attending to walk away having tapped into their courage to decide to be authentic, to follow their truth. Because, in life, you do get to a stage where it stops about being everybody else, and life asks you what you want, and it awaits your command. So disillusionment happens, as you say, when you are applying other people's templates as your own. It cannot be. You have got to have the courage to say to life, this is who I am, and this is how I want to deal with this area of my life in the most truthful and most honest and most satisfying way to you. And everybody else will fall into place. There comes a time where people's opinions about what you want and how you want to live and what you prefer they stop to matter. And that is the true definition of being an adult, isn't it? You're an adult. You command. You command how you want your life to go, because when you are a child, you look to your caregivers, and it's okay then. You are a child. You are not yet experienced enough to know how to navigate life, but you get to a stage where you become an adult, and the day you decide you would say, okay, I am now an adult, is when you take responsibility of your own life, the decisions that you make, and actually how you want your life to turn out. More than just the responsibility, because that's more like reactionary, but also just determining and deciding that, you know what, this is how I want my life to look. This is the kind of life I would like to live. This is the kind of love life I would like to have. These are the kind of family relationships I would like to have. And I am not bound by what I found or fell into or whatever happened to me. I actually do have the power to decide how I want my own life to look, even if it's going to look very different to the people that I was born with, even if it's going to look very different to the person I pledged my lifetime to. You know, it's just having that courage, because being authentic takes courage. So this is one of my deep desires for our event on the 9th of December, that the people who will be attending them will walk away having found a little bit of that courage to tap into their authenticity, to take, even if it's just one decision that will transform their lives into something that they desire, and where they are no longer victims of circumstance and karma and fate and soulmates and biology and all of those things.
Biology, my God.
Yes, yes, yes. We are very much victims of biology more than we would like to
Tell me
admit,
about it. Listen, you don't need to tell me about that. So let us
Yeah.
know. Let us know. Is any of this speaking to you? Any of what we've discussed? Let us know in the comments. Is any of it hitting home for you? Is any of it resonating? Are you going to be joining us? Do you need any extra clarity, information around the event? Let us know. Drop us a heart, drop us a yes, whatever. Just let us know that this is something that you are resonating with. This is something that's speaking to you on some level. And even if it was just on one thing, you get the opportunity to just come and unpack it, because that one thing has so many different layers. It's an onion. So you have this opportunity to just come and unpack it and have us be able to serve you in this remarkable way. Fetch your breakthroughs. I always say, you need to go fetch your love life. It doesn't come knocking on the door. Literally need to go out and fetch it. So if this is speaking to you, and if you are saying, yes, this is what I've been asking for, this will make a perfect Christmas gift from you to you. Listen, we are here for all of that goodness. So at the event, it will also so the event we will be serving a lunch as well, because we'll be there for a significant amount of time. We'll give you some stuff to take away with you. So yeah, come through, come join us. Let's flourish in love. But like, there really is no need for us to suffer and be enduring things that we did not come here to do. I know that as coaches, we even say, hi, nothing is a wasted experience. When you get the matching orders and you still decide to be ignorant about it, you are now wasting time.
Now you are wasting.
Me, I'm not that type of coach that is too concerned about making you feel good, warm and fuzzy inside. No, I'd rather just we have truth. Then we can have the warm and fuzzies after the truth on the other side of truth. Yes, but when you felt the call, and don't wait for it to become so uncomfortable that the healing process, the breakthrough, becomes a painful experience. Like, we really don't need to be putting ourselves through any more pain than we already have experienced, or any more pain than we need to experience in our growth and evolution. Growth and evolution is painful on its own. We don't need to add onto that. Yeah, we really don't need to add onto that in any way. So if you are wanting, I for one am one of those people. Like, I remember the day I prayed and I said, hey God, we need to talk. Me, I'm done. I don't even want to help people heal in the painful way. I don't want to do that, because Mina, I'm done with contributing towards pain. So because pain doesn't need an invitation. So I really do not need to add on to that. I for one believe that healing and receiving our breakthroughs and moving to our next levels does not need to be an excruciating experience. So in as much as we deal with serious things, we really don't need to be dragging ourselves through it and, more than we need to. So I'm glad that you are resonating. I hope that we will be seeing you there. We will be dropping the link now. And yeah, so let's have fun.
Let's have fun.
It's
Let's end the
festive.
year on a high
Be
note.
festive, yes.
Yeah, please. 2024 needs to be different, guys. We deserve better. So, and the only way for us
we
to
need
be
a new set
able
of
to
problems.
do that, we need to leave all of the crap, man, in the old, and start over for real this time. Not those New Year's resolutions that get repeated. That's another cycle and a pattern when I call 20. Same New Year's resolution for the past 12 years.
Let me tell you about New Year's resolutions, ne? Because I have this goals class that I teach. And one of the things that I teach people is, majority of the time, the reason why we don't hit our New Year's resolutions or we don't meet our goals is because we don't prepare for them. We need to prepare. You do not set a resolution you haven't spent time preparing for. And that's the thing, that the mistake that many of us do. Instead of creating a preparation list, we put our preparation as a resolution, and we don't write prepare for. Things like love, you prepare for fulfillment in love. You prepare for fulfillment in relationship. And that is something that I was fortunate to identify in hindsight, without having to go through, the years of being in on the back end of it. Because I remember I was sharing this with somebody this week, that nobody is exempt from preparing for the love that you are calling in, for the love that you know you are destined for. Nobody is exempt from it. In the sense that I went to university, spent 1 year in university, because in that 1 year I had to go and encounter and meet with my husband and have him see me. We saw each other in that first year. He said, you are my wife. One day I'm going to marry you. I love you. I had a boyfriend. And we went our separate ways for 2 years. For 2 years, we went our separate ways, and we reconnected 2 years later. And we are here 15 years later.
15 years later.
In that 2 years, I believe I needed to become the woman that he saw. Yes. Because I wasn't that person. So I was being prepared for the love that he was offering to me in those 2 years. So we prepare. Yes. There is always preparation that needs to go in. So even in the setting of the New Year's resolutions, we will help you understand where are you as far as your preparation stage. Because sometimes when we get the desire, it's not to say, yes, jump in, this is what you're going to have now. It's saying prepare for this thing that is unfolding for you. Because there was a boy, a young man, who had decided back whenever he decided in his childhood that I'm going to have a wife, I'm going to have all of these things. I wasn't there. He had this thing in the back of his mind. He then meets the person and he has the knowing that how this is my person. But he didn't get to jump into a relationship with his person then. We still spent 2 years apart. On top of those 2 years apart, we had 1 year of long distance relationship. Before we can say we have been in a relationship for 15 years. So there's a preparation, and you need to understand what your desire is saying. Is desire saying jump in now, or is desire saying prepare?
Injal.
Hayi kuzoba mnandi shema
Kakhulu, guys. Kakhulu. We also know how to have fun. We promise you.
Yes, we do, Shem. Yeah. No, Mina, you can ask that one. You can ask my friends. I'm the crazy friend for some reason. Because I'm the one who knows how to. I'm the one who knows how to have fun, and I always think I'm the most boring one of them all.
Okay,
so that's it, guys. If you have questions, please do pop in. If you feel like you want to get on a call and get some further clarity, let us know. our DMs, our emails. We just put everything in the description. So you'll find the link to book your ticket and secure your spot. You'll also find instructions on how you can actually book a call if you want some further clarity or you have some other questions. Otherwise, we will see you there. We will come all festive up. We have gotten the memo that once the month September, it's festive. We've been festiving, so Lalela will be very warm up by the time we get there.
Yeah. So yes, guys, see you all. Please also invite your friends. I think this will be it. You know, it's one of those experiences where if you have a dear friend, if you have a bestie, if you have a sister, bring them through, because you know what, those experiences are so much better when shared. Believe me. And you know, please. You know, and they can also.
I'm very behind in things, eh?
How do I know? I'm a single lady, girl. I don't know.
Oh, shame. Look at you.
So, yeah, you know, the benefit of bringing somebody with to such events, because it's more than an event, guys. It's an experience, you know. They can serve as an accountability partner down the line to remind you of those promises you made to yourself when we went to that place and spoke to those two ladies, you know. So, yeah, bring somebody. It's going to be a great experience. It's going to be a divine experience. It's going to be so much fun.
Experience
and intimate.
Well. So please
we're going
do
to
know
laugh.
that
We do promise cheers. Guaranteed. We do promise cheers, but we also promise love. Ne? There will be love and there will be great food. Great environment. Naledi Farm is beautiful in Centurion. So it's December 9th, 2023. It's going to be on a Saturday, 9 o'clock. We're going to start at 10 and finish at about 4 p.m. So just reserve that day for that event, that experience. Yeah, and we will be including all of the details in terms of payments and how you can get your tickets and book your spots. So we cannot wait to meet you. We cannot wait to have you there and to share live space with you. And not
yes, everybody that keeps telling me I find the Bundus. This is the time, girl, you run out of excuses. Why not to see me? But why do you live so far? I wish I could just drive over and come see you. Well, this is it.
my people were saying, Coach Nunu, virtual. When do we get to be in a room? So here's your opportunity. We get to be in a room.
This is it.
Come join us.
But you know that it's because of the outcomes and the impact that we want to have. It will be a very intimate setup. So the spots are limited on how many people we are going to be accepting, because we really want everybody to have an opportunity to be able to express you know, themselves and have their own authentic and unique experiences. So we can't have a very large group. No. It's impossible to have a large group. So it's going to be a very small group of people. So the sooner you get your seats secured, the better for you. And we'll see you there, looking all lovely and loved up.
Cannot wait.
We feel so much better in person than we do when we are here live. I tell you.
Thank
you. All
you.
right, guys, and thank you so much. Thank you, Nunu. So we'll just be dropping from now on. That's all we're talking about, Tina. Until the day. So wherever you see us, that's all we're going to be talking about. That's how excited we are. So hopefully we'll see you in there. Look out for the details in the description. Thank you so much, Nunu. I am excited. I know you are excited.
I am very excited.
Thank
you guys for joining us. Yes.
Yeah, and look out for the episodes leading up to the event as well. Do also make sure that you are dropping into my email community, because I have already started the educational piece of what we're going to be jumping into, so that we get there, we do the breakthroughs, we do the ahas, all the good stuff. We want to do just the good stuff and the exciting stuff over there. The education piece, no, we're already taking care of that in the background.
Alright.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys. See ya on the 9th of December.
Yes, 9th
Bye-bye.
of December, Naledi Farm in Centurion. Get your tickets.
Yes.
Bye, Nu.
Bye, guys. Good night.